Welcome to this episode of Biz Talk 101 by DIY3DTech.com. In this episode, we want to talk about product types. So in prior episodes, we spoke about innovation in product, and then in a follow-up episode, we talked about pricing those products for sale. Now what we need to do is sort of a little bit of a precursor coming back around to the product itself to kind of talk about product typing, product classifications. This is going to be very important as we move towards the marketing segments and product portfolios. So with all that being said, let's jump into this. And first thing, the disclaimer. So again, these are, basically my experiences. I'm sharing with you guys. Use them at your own risk. That's probably enough to be said there. So let's jump into this with a comment by the infamous Steve Jobs. So Steve liked to say, you've got to start with the customer experience and work back towards the technology, not the other way around. Now, this is of critical importance as we're starting to up our product game, if you will. So Steve was a master at placing products in markets, and that's what's really key. So again, you have an innovative product, you've priced it to sell, now you have to get it into a channel to be sold. You have to have some mechanism to sell that product, and that is your market. And having the right market to your product type is critical for your success. And that's what we're going to start out in this episode, is matching up those classifications. So with that being said, let's jump over and talk about the 4 classifications of products, if you will. So before we get there, though, I do want to cover one piece. So we're talking about consumer products here, and this is what most of you folks are going to really be working in, is selling a product to an end consumer, right? And so basically what that means is somebody who's going to enjoy or utilize the product in the end is going to be the one purchasing it from you. We typically have B2B, which is business to business, where another business is buying your product to use in their final product, or you have B2C, where a business is selling directly to the end consumer. In this case, we're talking about B2C selling to the end consumer. So again, sorry for the nomenclature, but it's really important that we get that out there so we're all working off the same page. With that being said, again, we have 4 classifications. We have the convenience product, we have the shopping product, we have the specialty product, and we have the unsought after product. All very interesting. And it's now one of the things I kind of want to lead into here. One product may not be just locked into one of these categories. Maybe think of this as a quadrant, and some of this they overlay a little bit. And I'll talk about that as I go through this. But in general, let's pretty much look at them individually, if you will. All right, so let's take the convenient product right off the bat. So all of these have a certain set of attributes. One of them is price. What can you get out of them? How hard is it to sell? How many are you going to sell? So I'm going to cover those pieces out in this as we go through this. So basically, with this being said, one of the pieces that I did to set the product for this and to kind of give you guys some ideas, I went to Etsy and I looked up 3D printing products that people are selling on Etsy because I kind of wanted to take a little bit more of a neutral approach than going to eBay or something else, and I thought Etsy was pretty good. And so for this case, I decided to pick this chicken dipper thingamajig widget. So I thought this was actually pretty cool and a good example of a convenience type sale. So because the idea here is you're really not going out and looking for it, but you come across it and you go, wow, this is something I need, and because it's going to make my life easier, it's going to be more convenient. I eat chicken nuggets all the time. The kids eat chicken nuggets. Little Bobby or Susie can have it on the vent. They can dip their chicken nuggets and hopefully not shove the chicken nugget down the vent. But, it's just sort of a cool idea. And the piece is with this, it's going to be a lower price sell because it's going to be an impulse sell. So as we talked before in the pricing episode, there's pricing pressure. So the higher the price you get, the fewer impulse purchases you will have made. And so this is something that, from a market or channel standpoint, you can set next to just about anything. And it's going to be the law of large numbers that's going to sell this product for you. So you run the opportunity of selling a large number, but it's going to be a low dollar amount and it's going to be low profit margin. So again, looking back on the prior episode, keep these things in mind. So this is going to have to be something like that. So wide market, low price, impulse buy is going to give you a winner chicken dinner on this one. And so think about that as you're going into your product selection of what you want to sell. Is it a convenience product? Can this be something that can be mass marketed? Now, the other thing, be forewarned, when you go into something of convenience nature, there's usually a lot of competition, either directly or indirectly. Somebody else may be making a chicken nugget dipper, or somebody making a chicken nugget dipper that goes into the cup holder or whatever, or even a competitive product of a burger holder, so people buy burgers instead of chicken nuggets. But anyways, I'll talk a little bit more on the marketing side of this too when we go to the marketing episodes about how to go to market with this. But for right now, these are some of the things to think about. Are you going to want to produce a mass quantity of these? Quite frankly, something like this I think is probably better plastic molded, injected plastic molding, whatever, done than probably 3D printing. But hey, I could be wrong there. So with that being said, what I want to move to next is actually the shopping product. Now, I picked this. I found this very unique. These are 3D printed cityscapes, if you will, and I put these in the shopping category. The shopping category is typically something somebody's going to shop. Now, I did this for the fact is I'm considering this a piece of art. So one of the things that you noticed in the first one with convenience is utilitarianism versus artisanism, or basically novel design. So the piece is the chicken holder, dip holder was very utilitarian. This is not utilitarian at all. So this is an artisan type purchase, and this is going to be competing against other works of art, if you will. And it's not something somebody's going to go, hey, I need this to hold my chicken sauce. I want to hang this on the wall. They're going to have more of an emotional connection to it. It's going to be a lower volume sale, but as you can see by the price of it, it's going to be a little bit higher price sale. Also, you're not going to want to focus a mass market appeal to this like you would the chicken nugget, because at just about any time, you could be in the mood to buy a chicken nugget dipper holder, but to buy a piece of 3D printed artwork for the wall, well, that's a little bit different. So your markets, as you can see, are narrowing down quite a bit here. And so this is something you kind of, again, have to keep in mind when you're looking at your product selection and what you want to invest in, because each product you decide to bring to market is an investment of your time, effort, and money on your side. So again, this is why we want to classify them to match them to your intent. So with this, we can take this product and we can print maybe 10 of them out and set them aside, versus we're going to have to print hundreds or thousands of probably the chicken nugget holder or sauce holder things out. So it's going to be a different commitment of time, money, and effort. You're also going to have higher shipping with the chicken, sauce holder. I keep having a hard time what to call the thing. But you get the idea, versus this, where you're going to have smaller sales, higher profit margin. So what's going to fit best into your business model? Okay, so with that being said, what I want to do is jump over to specialty product. Now, this is something that I found very interesting and kind of could go either, I wrestled with it, specialty or unsought after. And I decided specialty because of its nature. So basically, this is a 3D printed clitoris. Yes, folks, you can buy a 3D printed clitoris on Etsy. Is this something that's going to be a convenience purchase? No, I don't think so. Is this going to be a shopping-based purchase where somebody's going to compare this 3D printed clitoris with something else? I don't think so. This is going to be something that somebody is going to seek with a special interest, and that's really what's key here. So it's going to come with at a higher price, and you can see the price is pretty high on this, although I've never been in the market for a 3D printed clitoris before, so I can't really judge the price, but just off the cuff, seems a little bit high. But with that being here and there, the idea with this is, again, is this utilitarian or more novel in design? Is it artisan based? I'm assuming the concept here with this is basically, of medical in nature or educational in nature, where somebody is seeking this for a specific reason. Again, I could see, possibly a gynecologist, etc. Somebody in the medical profession acquiring this for demonstration purposes, etc. So again, they're going to have a specialty need. So are you going to put this in mass market? Are you going to take out a big Facebook ad advertising you have a 3D printed clitoris for sale, and put that right next to your chicken nugget dipper? I don't really think so. And that's sort of the important part here is, again, there's room for all these products in the market, but it's, again, you need to know the classification so you can build your market to the classification. And again, as I've already said, we'll talk about this a little bit more in the future, but I kind of want to build these ideas. So if you have access to, say, to a mass market appeal, do you want to do a 3D printed clitoris? Probably not. If you have other products or you're focusing on the medical field, then it probably is a very interesting idea. So again, with that being said, again, you have some ideas, and I think the chicken dipper, I think the 3D printed cityscape and the 3D printed clitoris are all kind of great corner examples of where you can take your home-based business in coming up with products. I mean, look at this, folks. I mean, all the way from a mundane, chicken sauce dipper to a rather interesting, phenomenally interesting in my book, 3D printed cityscape, to that of anatomical organs, so that really has a wide gambit, and I try to pick things that were in the kind of the four corners of these groupings to give you both inspiration of product and also idea of placement. Now, the final one is the unsought after product. And I kind of vexed about selecting this particular product, but I thought it worked in this case as a good example, because I've never, out of all the tons and tons of people I know, have ever heard anybody say, I need to find myself one of these lilies from the Black Panther from Wakanda to put on top of a birthday cake that lights up. Never, ever, ever have I heard this. So I really consider this an unsought after product, but on the other side too, one that after I came across it, I thought, how cool is this? Because there are definitely a lot of Black Panther fans out there. I thought it was a cool movie. It was sort of like, maybe in a weird way, the adult version of Frozen, because my wife, for one of her birthdays, I got her a Frozen scene birthday cake. Even though she's not a kid, she very much enjoyed it. So I could see somebody coming across this product and saying, I wasn't seeking this, I wasn't looking for this, but I simply have to have it. Now, this is at the other end of the spectrum of the convenience purchase. So somebody's going to purchase that dipper to make their life easier. This isn't going, this Wakanda lily is not going to make anybody's life easier, but it is going to give them a unique experience that they have not sought. And this again is why I started this off with Steve Jobs' quote, what is your customer's experience going to be? So no matter what class of product you decide to pick, the first thing we need to start out with is, what do we want our customer's experience to be? Do we want it to be one of convenience? Do we want it to be one of a shopping nature? Do we want it to be a specialty nature, or an unsought after pleasure? It can be any of those four, but we need to pick one, or we need to pick one dominant one, because again, I took this Wakanda lily as being, it could be specialty or it could be unsought after. I went with the 3D printed clitoris and specialty because, let's face it, you can't get much more special than a 3D printed clitoris, where again, I haven't seen anybody seek a Wakanda lily. So when I saw it, I even almost thought about, hey, this is something I could buy because it could be just, a neat thing. So again, I hopefully have set some perspective here. And again, the reason I've done this video is it's going to be a precursor for the marketing video where we're going to get into more detail about this. So when we talk about going to market, so should we choose eBay or Etsy or another market or an Amazon, or there's dozens of artisan markets out there, where should we best put our product for sale? Because again, everything we do, every movement you make in your life is an investment. And so you have to make every movement, every step of life life count. One of the things a viewer asked me, and I'm going to do a video on this, how do I make the best use of my time? And it's ruthless time management. I look at everything I do, including making this video, as an investment of my time that I will never ever get back. So I want to make sure I'm making the best investment in time possible. And again, when I have tools like this that help me prioritize, help me categorize, it gives me one up on the competition. So with that being said, I think I've rambled enough here, shared enough. So keep watching. Put the comments down below. Again, I've been getting some really good comments off this. I would like to really kind of get some more functional comments or questions, really. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Questions from you guys that I can hit on. I'm going to do one on time management. I like that idea, so watch for that coming in the future. I'm going to probably do markets after this one because that's kind of, again, how I've had it planned, so these two work together. So anyways, if you've enjoyed this, please share it with your friends. Please hit the bell button down below so you get the print, so you're notified when I put out more content like this, because again, I'm keeping this as a running series. Don't forget to subscribe. I assume you're a subscriber, right? If you haven't, hit the subscribe button. It will be coming up at the end of this video. And hey, we'll see you in the next Biz Talk 101, where we talk business. Cheers.
Please click like below and subscribe to the channel.